Life, new way of life. TV and talk radio is where the go. Best thing going is our TV show. Big Rich, Crystal Love, Kiara and Dr. Renee. We had the information, we give it away. Every week we bring the truth in the TV and radio booth. New way of life. TV, new way of life. TV, feel powered by the lip. TV network.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, Big Rich, New Way of Life TV late show. This is our late show, y'all. We'll be doing this every day, bringing on special guests. I'm with, starting over there in the right top-hand corner, Apostle Dr. Brandy Renee Pyburn. And down here up under me, I guess on the screen, it's my co-host Crystal Love, and then we got a special guest, Dr. Jamal Rashid in the house. What's going on, Dr. Rashid?
Fantastic. As the world goes on and we go on, just keep it moving.
All right. Dr. Rashid, start out with telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, basically, my name is Dr. Jamal Rashid. I'm a native of Chicago, Illinois. Grew up on the South Side. Attended Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, majored in radio, TV broadcasting. Went to Prairie View A&M, sociology, and then in Indiana, received my doctorate degree in philosophy and African American ministry from a sociological perspective. Right now, I'm out of the education business, and I run a Black History Museum in Waxahachie, Texas. It's been there now since 2006. And I also operate the Prince Hall Fraternal Cemetery in Waxahachie, Texas, a cemetery that's been around since the 1800s. So I got a lot of things up under the belt. I'm a former director of Methodist Hospital's prostate cancer program. I'm a 25-year prostate cancer survivor. And the list just goes on and on. I always sum it up with saying, I am a revolutionary about freedom, justice, and equality, and expounding information to all to make a difference, social change, social action. Thank y'all.
All right. So at the museum, what can people expect to see at your museum, Dr. Rashid?
Basically, the museum opened in 2006, and it focuses on the difference in a lot of museums is they call themselves African-American museums, but they're not saying African-American history museums. And we go to a lot of them, i.e. the one in Dallas, and it's art and no history. My museum focuses in on where we came from, where we've been, and where we're going. You come in and the whole room is adorned with artifacts of Africa, kings and queens, and what we were before we ended up on that ship in 1619, coming to America, and then what we went through from 1619 to present as we approach Black History Month. And it's important to know where we've been so we know where we're going. And then the third room focuses in on Ellis County. People throughout Ellis County, African Americans, who are unsung heroes. And on the 28th of this month, coming up, February, we'll be honoring 12 people that will be going into the Hall of Fame that is in the museum that has 60 right now. And people who are first to do things like first principals, first constables, first doctors, some judges, some politicians. And so I go throughout Ellis County, sitting out on the porch, talking to people, saying who did what, when, where, and how. Ultimately, we'll end up with a book called Black Life in Ellis County. But the focus of the museum is to focus in on a lot of our young people and adults have no clue about how rich and strong we were in Africa before we came to America. So it goes through three phases: Africa, and then landing in America and our trials and tribulations all the way up through President Obama, and then the Hall of Fame room, which has over 1,500 books by and about Blacks. It's the largest Black book collection in Ellis County. We're all about trying to educate and inform.
Okay, all right. Say just brought in to the live to the studio. Good friend Janice, Jazzy J. All
Hey.
right, a member of New Way of Life TV. Hey, what's going on, Janice?
What's going on, everybody?
Hi
All
there.
right,
Hey,
Blessings.
girl, miss you.
Hey, Crystal, miss y'all too.
Hey.
all right. Janice, you met Brandy at the wedding, didn't you?
Not formally, no, but
Oh,
I
We
seen her though.
crossed each other.
Yeah,
okay.
we crossed
Yeah.
each other's path. Yeah.
All right. We're gonna just jump right into with social media. I know a lot of people I was looking on Facebook concerned about what TikTok is doing. Hey, they doing this, what Facebook ain't doing, what each platform is doing. But as we look around, as I look around, we see certain things selling. Of course, they always say the number one things that sell on social media is sex, sexual content, sexual whatever. When I look at, and I always tell people, whatever your content is, your content. I don't talk about anybody's content. I concentrate on perfecting my craft. But as we look around and see what the top seller, anybody can start. Why is it the positive messages or the messages about our culture doesn't sell as well as the other stuff?
Mm. Mm.
Because it's not messy. Messy sells. And this is the hard truth. No matter how positive you try to be, you have an arena of people who like mess.
Yeah.
It's intriguing. It's something to dive into. It's something to follow. It's catchy. But when you're speaking positive and you're being an influence in a positive way, you often get overlooked until it's popular to follow you.
Yeah.
True.
I agree. And it's so true. They like drama. People like drama. You know, they like
Mm-hmm.
gossip. They like stuff that it can even be a lie, but if it's juicy, they'll fall right into it.
Mm-hmm. Bad news, drama, betrayal, and bad embarrassment, outrage. Those trigger survivor attention, right? And it's called negativity bias. So we tend to lock on to what could hurt us, shame us, or warn us. Positive content can feel safe, and safe things don't always get clicks, you know. But however, that messy content, that content that keeps people keep coming back for more and more. You know how they show the when you're watching a what is it called, a surreal television show.
Real.
Yeah, that
Mm,
real TV shows, they gonna keep you all the way up to the ending. They ain't gonna tell you, they ain't gonna show you what's happened because why? They want you to click back on. They want you to watch the next series the next day, the next time it come on. The same way with the messy content, with the
Very
drama
much.
content, the
what are
sex.
your thoughts, Dr. Jamal?
I would say
Go ahead.
going from way back when music was music and music meant something and movies meant something and our people were producing things that made us conscious, made us aware of what we needed to do, what we needed to do with our lives, our families, and a number of things that kept us strong during the 50s, 60s, and 70s. However, we always have to look at what's taking place with economics and politics. We don't control the economics, we don't control the dollars. And when the oppressor began to have control over what we see, hear, and experience, then we lost control of how to do that. And all of these media platforms are not necessarily run by us, they're run by the oppressor. And his whole objective is to keep us down,
Mm,
Right.
not up. And it is our responsibility to make sure that our youth and those around us don't get sucked into the
mm,
vacuum that would keep them on the bottom of the stack instead of moving forward.
I like that.
And I say that sort of kind of as my kids grew up, and keeping an eye on your kids and doing much more with your kids. Um, my kids didn't have video games in the house. Okay, and now they're all grown. They're in their 30s now, college graduates, Morehouse, Clark, Atlanta, and Philander Smith. You know, 2 PhDs, but they didn't have. We have to start getting back control of our homes, our families, and our youth, and not letting society and the education system that keeps them 8 hours a day ruin them unless we interject. So I'm getting more and more to the point whereas when you point the finger, look at where the thumb goes. It goes back to you, back to us. We can control it. Now, we may not be able to change the entire society, but we can change the people that are around us and make sure they don't fall into the spider's web. So all of these things that are happening now, they're paying each other to keep a certain part of society down while a certain part of society continues to rise. And all of the effects of these things that are taking place on social media are basically affecting our population and not the oppressor's population.
Right. In the program I'm in, we have in our literature, it tells us, it says, you know, all our relationships were a sham and a parody of love and intimacy. Right. So as I look at these reels and things on social media, and that's what they are. They're parodies of what a real relationship or what we thought a relationship was. So I always go back to this for all of us. I think we always have to start. We're starting at the same definition. What you call something, I got the same definition of it. You know, or you know, that way, you know, let's just take church, religion, any other self-help group, right? If our definition are the same, then we're going to be looking at it totally different. So for the parents who don't know, and then you come in trying to tell them, hey man, this would be better off for your child. And it ain't got nothing to do with sports. It ain't got nothing to do with making people laugh. It ain't got nothing to do with acting. So how do we address that? Anybody?
I don't want to be the only one to dive in. How we address that is just like my book that I've just finished up, Ingredients and Consequences of a Rotten Education. It starts at home. Everything starts at home. The influence that we have on them, the time we spend with them, how do we control that? When my kids were growing up, we would have man talk every night at 8 o'clock. And each one of my 3 boys, we'd sit in the room. What'd you do today? Who'd you interact with? What took place? And I would dissect it and break it down. I would not let them accept whatever was going on in society. Today, time and involvement with our youth, parents are having to work 2 and 3 jobs, and they don't even get a chance to have breakfast or dinner with their kids in the morning to turn around and digest what may be coming out of the school system or what they may learn on the streets. You know, here in Texas, the kid spends less time in the streets than we did in Chicago. It was almost 24/7, 365 days a year. Right. You know, everything you learned came off the streets. Mm-hmm. But as you come to the South, there was a little bit more participation of the adults with the children and through their spiritual connection. All of that's gone now. It's disappeared. And until we reach back and say, these are the things that's missing, and make a comparison of those things, make your individual contribution. It doesn't say, I mean, a lot of the things that I do, I tell people, you don't have to have a whole building full of people you're talking to and hope that there's going to be a drastic change. Start with the neighborhood, start with your house, and watch it grow. And then you will know within yourself, I made my contribution. Just like as an educator, there may be 30 kids in my class and only 5 of them really get the gist of what's going on. Right. I said to myself, I did something. I didn't just keep my hands tied and just not do anything at all, looking for a greater change to happen. So it is all from within, you know, picking your direction, and allowing yourself to be driven by the grand architect of the universe, who is telling you what you need to do, and don't question what it is he's telling you to do, to just follow his rule and regulation.
Right, Janice, you and Brandon, well, Crystal, all of us, grandkids. So what are we telling our grandkids? I mean, we telling them, oh, don't look at the fun stuff, just look at the educational stuff. I mean, we were kids. We know that that can be boring, you know. So how do we find that balance, or how do we teach them that balance? I'm gonna just say, the greatest thing, one of the greatest things in ninth grade, my mother made me join ROTC in high school. I did not want to join. That was not, man. I wanted to be with the cool kids. I wanted to play ball, but my mother made me join ROTC, and I did it for all 4 years in high school. And even then, I knew I was going to military. But when I think back and say, boy, my mama ever did something for me, boy, she did something for me when she made me join it. So how do we instill that in our grandkids now?
With me, it's kind of difficult, Richard, and you know that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I'm from the old school and I have a lot of old habits that I was raised on that it's hard for me to let go of. Like the electronics. You know, like I feel like at a certain time they need to be put up and you need to be in the bed. And you know, but my daughter says that's my child. So I stay in my lane. Like when she's over here, turn that off, get in the bed. But when you're at home, you do what you want it. But then my daughter gets mad because she's like, you're trying to raise my child. So my friend in the program, my sponsor told me, stay in your lane. That's not your child. That's your grandchild. So that's what I began to do. Stay in my lane.
Well, I have little bitty grandbabies. So my grandbaby is 3 and 5. So the 5-year-old is she's very mature to be a 5-year-old, but at the same time, she a kid. And when I say a kid, of course, they still like playing with toys. You know, I'm the fun grandma. I like to play with them. What I have start doing, well, I've always done is let them be kids. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's playtime at Granny and Papa house, they might pull out every toy in the toy box. That's okay because when I see they bored with it, I'm gonna tell them to put that back up, and they put that back up. You know, but I let them be kids. You know, if they're making noise, it's okay because they playing, and I let them be kids. I don't want to take away letting my grandchild be a kid by playing because they love to play. They say, Granny, can we go play? I think that is just awesome because a lot of time in my childhood growing up, I didn't have the chance or opportunity to just play. Like I had to be an adult too soon. I was doing and having adult things done to me too young for a child to even experience or comprehend what was going on with her. And so I love to see my grandkids play. Also, what I have started to do is buy the educational games. You know, I love the fact that they love to play with pots and pans and artificial food. You know what I'm saying? Because that's building their vocabulary. You know, they love watching TV, but at the same time, they watch Miss Rachel. You know, and educational things. They be singing in Mexican Spanish songs and stuff, you know. Like my niece be saying my grandbaby be saying Spanish to me. I say, where you learn that at? And she learned off Miss Rachel, you know. So I love the fact I buy them leapfrog games and anything that'll help build their little vocabulary, especially the baby that's in daycare. But I definitely just let them be kids because they young. They 3 and 5. My husband is the more stern grandparent. Do what I say, do this, you know, all of that. That's fine and dandy. I didn't start to be a little stern too. When I say stop, stop. When I say come here, you know. I'm teaching her that I'm fun granny too, but I can also be a stern granny, and by adding a little pop at times when she deserved it. Because at first I wasn't doing that, you know, and she's spoiled. She's very spoiled. So when she get mad and things don't get her way, I need her to not roll on the ground and start screaming and hollering because I said no. And so I have gotten firm with that no word. I have gotten firm with that, and I have gotten firm with my discipline and still being a fun granny because I'm a young granny and I'm a fun granny. But just letting them play because they 3 and 5. I got plenty of time with them, I feel like.
Why you looking at the camera? What
I'm
you
looking
waiting?
at you, Apostle. I'm looking at you.
I mean, I'm I'm always on the move, so I rarely get to see my grandbabies. If I see them, it's under circumstances. Um, but like Miss Janice said, I know my lane. I've raised my kids, and so however my daughter is raising her children, that's how they operate in my house. I don't do nothing different because I don't believe in confusion. If you got a way here and you got a way there, and then they go to their other granny house and her house is ran a certain way, it can discombobulate kids and throw them off. They get confused and then they get frustrated. So I'm just a chill, laid back Mimi. You come to my house, just stay out my room. Just go where you want to go, but stay out my room. And because I
Yeah.
don't need you in here prowling. And so they know when they come over here, they come with phones, they come with tablets, they get on the couch, they cut the TV on, they watch what they want to watch on the TV as long as it ain't cussing and fighting. I'm cool. They'll sit there and that's where they fall asleep. And they wake up and they do their routine again the next day until they go home. And I'm just like, hey, them your kids. I'm just me.
See, I only have one, and
Oh, I got three.
She's 14,
Mm.
and she stays on her tablet. And I guess I'm okay because she's not into boys right now. She still wears jogging suits, and I be like, "Don't you want to look like a little girl?" Like, and I have to catch myself because sometimes, do you really want her to look like a little girl? You know,
Mm-hmm.
then her stay in her jogging suits with her hair like in the afro, like, because when she get on that other side, then you're gonna be really worried.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's true.
that phone and that tablet got to drive me crazy because she stays on it constantly, all day, every day. It's like five of them on the phone.
Yeah.
Her little friends, and she got three little friends that's roughnecks. They be cussing, and I said, "Who is that?" And it's Grandma Easy in there. Like, so I know you be doing it too.
Mhm.
'Cause that's the circle that you in.
Mhm.
I
Mm-hmm.
hear it. So I guess I got to be okay, but it's kind of scary. But like I'm like you though, I stay in my lane because that's not my child.
Yep.
I was raised, they wouldn't be able to deal with it.
Mhm.
But my mama didn't play that.
Yeah.
Back
Mm-mm.
in the 60s and the 70s, 70s and the 80s. No, no, no. Uh-uh.
I haven't gotten
Going
to
to
that
bed at 8
stage.
o'clock, you ain't gonna spend the night in nobody's house. Just
Yeah.
rules.
Mhm.
My cousin tells me all the time, you got to get out of that old school stuff. This is a new generation. You got to change your perspective. I said, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
it's
well, well, Dr. Jamal. I mean, I know. Well, they don't know. I know you and Janice, around the same age. If y'all, Dr. Jamal is a friend of my mother's. So the old school way just don't work anymore, Dr. Jamal.
It they can be applicable, and you just I mean, I'm gonna look at it from the standpoint. I have 5 grandkids that are all over the place. I have one that's here. She's 4 years old, and her daddy has her disciplined to the max. Um, she likes to play, but her play is with her dog. Okay, her dog and her dad. They that's who my son has fun with his daughter. He always send me pictures of him having fun with um, our granddaughter. She's very astute. Um, he takes her everywhere. He takes her. I mean, she's 4 years old, and he takes her to the mosque in Richardson.
Mhm.
And sometime when she's over here, she stops what she's doing and grabs her prayer rug and say, "Baba, it's prayer time. Baba, it's prayer time." Okay.
oh,
And so, and she's 4.
Wow.
Okay.
Mhm.
She wears the headpiece at 4. Her daddy is keeping her in line. She's being a child. She's getting her play and her interaction with the kids that are at her daycare facility. But then she is learning more of what to do and what not to do when she's around them from her constant care of her father. And it transmits on. She's a yellow belt in karate. Okay, no, he wants to make sure she can take care of herself. When she comes over, she doesn't have a tablet or a phone. When she comes over, we have a stack of books in the corner. Okay, we read to her, you know, we let her read. We have fun with her in an educational fashion, not just do your thing, laugh, 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 laugh. You know, but she's still being a kid, and her reaction lets you know she with her grandmother. She's in the kitchen, helping out in the kitchen. You know, she knows how to make her pizza. You know, she knows how to make her bed. She's 4. The parent has more influence instead of. I didn't grow up. I tell people growing up in Chicago, I didn't grow up. I didn't have a childhood. Every little boy, for the most part, is like, okay, when your mom and dad have separated, what do you become? The man of the house. You the man of the house at 6 or 7 years old. You know, mom be going to work. Okay, lock that door. Don't let nobody in here. You know, and so I didn't get a chance to play like I watched other family people play. You know, which I learned from that, and also being a adult probation officer, being a juvenile probation officer, being over alternative schools, the juvenile alternative school. I learned through all of that behavioral process how to expose and how to work with my grandkids so that they would not be a part of that system. Okay, so I'm not gonna be when they come over and by the way, don't call me grandpa. It's Baba, which is the African term for ancestor, and so she's learning stuff like that, and she obeys without a scream because you know some of us, if your daddy looked at you, he didn't have to say nothing. He just look at you and all of a sudden you straighten up. And that's the way I do with her. I'll give her the look and she
That's my husband. All you gotta do is look to them grandbabies. That's all you
You
gotta
know.
He has never popped them or nothing. All you gotta do is give him that look. So right about that.
But we have to still say
I'm a
somewhere
papa.
in the line there's an opportunity for some of them to be saved. Not a big group, but to be able to say, like I said before, to go back and say to yourself, I work on mine. Mine is ready. Now, either they'll go back to school and they'll continue to have that. As I've worked in elementary schools, middle schools, and just got out of work into the high school, and I said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. But the formative years are ages are really 1 through 4. And then when they hit that population, they have to already been trained to run into those folks that's going to be crazy in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So it's a constant work, and figure out ways to have fun and make it educational fun and not necessarily social fun. And that's the way I look. That's the way I did them. It was educational fun and not a traditional social fun. At the end, they were still laughing and joking and whatever, but they got a lesson out of it.
Right.
Particularly, I didn't let them use, like I said, they went through high school, no problems in high school. None of the 3 of them had girlfriends in high school. They concentrated academics and sports. Now, and then went on to college, you know, and as I listened to them, they still stayed focused. You know, they said, Dad, you never told us how to deal with women. I said, well, that wasn't on my plate. You know, so they worked in McDonald's, you know, from 14 through. They all, you know, played track, played football, concentrated on their jobs and their studies. You know, both of them, you know, and went on to college and still concentrated on what the future needed to look like. Over the summers, I would take them to various HBCUs across the country when they were in middle school. And it was no coincidence. I guess it wasn't a coincidence that when they were in middle school, they have a picture that one of them, they both took in front of Clark Atlanta, and they took a picture in front of Morehouse. And even though they went to all the other places we looked around, coincidentally, they ended up at Clark Atlanta and Morehouse. And they were in 7th grade when they saw those schools. I mean, 7 years old when they saw those schools. You know, but it's a constant. It's a constant. So if we concentrate on our own and feel success from our own and not the downside of working with others, then we'll feel comfortable in what we did.
Right. And that's one of the things, well, the network that the channel is on, Lit TV Network, they have a deal with the school district in Jacksonville, which is Duval County. The school district sent out letters to every parent in the school district for them to download the Lit TV Network app, because that's what's on the network: inspirational, educational, motivational content. Partnered with HBCUs, so they have shows now. We have shows on the network where kids can see HBCU life now. They can turn on TV and see life at I'm trying to do the same here in Dallas with the HBCU we have here. You know, me, I'm a little old school. I believe you got to learn it somewhere. And you come on my house, it's about our common welfare. You know, I learned proper things, the proper way to do things at my great aunt's house. Not at grandmama's house, because grandmama let us do anything. But her sister, my great aunt, oh, you learn what fork to eat with, table manners, clean, you know. So I believe that, because I don't want my grandkids going somewhere and people looking at, well, you ain't never been taught. And a lot of us didn't get taught. You know what I'm saying? But we have to learn it somewhere. You come over here, say we got rules here. What you do at your mama house, you go right ahead. Over here, you have responsibilities, you have obligations, because I have to have an upside. If there's no benefit to me, why am I doing it? And that's with everything. I say that in a lot of things. What is the upside for me bearing the responsibility? You know, I'm bearing responsibility. So what's the upside for me? Well, my upside is I want to see you do well. I don't want you going anywhere not knowing what good manners are. You know, and just for example, just like my wife's now, her grandson, 16 years old, he was with his mother, right? He came over, he come through the door, he ain't got no shirt on. I stopped him right there. Oh, hey. Man, that's not how you come into people's house. What are you doing? You're not a grown man. This is my house. Well, I know you ain't never been taught. You go back out that door and put a shirt on. You don't come in people's houses without a shirt on.
True.
He had never been taught that. See, that was all right for him. But I'm not going to let him go nowhere else over somebody else's house, and that may cost him something in the future. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my feeling. That's just my feeling, you know. And he was like, well, I didn't know. He was like, Big Rich, I didn't know. You 17 years old.
Wow.
You didn't come into people's house, even though this your granny house. Even though this, you know, your granny. But no, you don't do that, son. And the boy's all right, he's a good boy, you know, but he just didn't know.
You ain't been taught.
Hadn't been taught. You know.
I know growing up.
We also have to be careful about, my kids never spent the night over anybody's house.
That's a good thing.
You don't know what's going on inside these houses.
We didn't either. We didn't either growing up.
I had a niece that I had to take care of from California, and when she came over here, she was in the 5th grade, and she was used to doing that, and I didn't let her do that. Her mom and them just said, "Can you help us raise this kid?" And you know, you never know what's happening, so we did it one time. And I said, "No, we'll never do that again." You know, those sleepovers and all that other kind of stuff. Maintain as much control of your kid as you can, even though they like doing stuff like that. You never know what's happening or how they're being influenced by the other place that they're at.
Right. I know growing up, we got spankings and whoopings for every single thing. I don't care who house we went at. Ain't Georgia Bay house. I love my Georgia Bay house, but we got everything was a whooping and a cussing out, especially at my mama's house. Everything we did. And I'm not a parent, and I'm not a biological grandmother. I'm married into being a grandmother, and I just know that I want to do totally different with my grandkids. I want to do totally different with the way I was raised, because I was raised, to me, harsh. All the beatings, all the with stitcher cards and belts and coat hangers, all the stuff that I got whooped with, I still turned out to be a drug addict, drop out high school, not even high school, dropped out of 8th grade. You cannot beat me into common sense. You cannot beat me into doing right. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. I just don't think beating kids and whooping kids behind every single thing. I drop some water, pop upside the head. I just don't think that a beating is the answer for every single thing a child does. I just don't think that. Spare the rod, beat the child, whatever, however it goes. I don't. I got beat, and I still turned out the worst of the worst. Shoot, I got my brakes beat off me. I still turned out the worst of the worst. Beating ain't always the answer. Whooping that butt ain't always the answer. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Dr. Jamal, before we get off, tell us about one of your books.
Oh, okay. The one that I just finished up was called Ingredients and More Ingredients and Consequences of a Rotten Education. And basically what I did, that book talked about how, first of all, it starts at home. We can't let society continue to raise our children. But what's happening is politics and economics have gotten involved in the education system, and everybody wants to make more money. They don't want to spend time actually teaching the kids. They throw them a computer and say, here, get your stuff off of that. You know, the kids are using all kind of other things, but yet and still they're not getting ready for society. So that book, it's in depth. My wife and I wrote it about 2 years ago. And then after I finished long-term subbing at the high school for about 6 months, I came back with the second part of that book, you know, to show what was going on, what our adult teachers are doing, including changing grades so kids can play football, basketball, and sports, you know, and, you know, manipulating the system to make them keep going. And then when they walk across that stage, instead of walking down the stairs at the end of the stage, what they're really doing is they're falling off the stage and not being prepared for life. And they end up only being prepared for institutions, i.e. drug and alcohol facilities, prisons, juvenile facilities, mental health situations, you name it. They're getting them ready for institutions and not life. We were prepared for life by getting education and skills to succeed. This group is nowhere to go, not even the Army, because they don't want you. You can't even pass the test to go to the Army. So, you know, it's crazy. But once again, we've got to grab hold to them and walk them through so that when they cross that stage at 18, they're ready. They're ready. And we can only blame ourselves if they're not. Don't put the hands of our children into a society and a system that's only concerned about politics and money.
Right.
So that's what my last book was about. The book before that was Nightmare at the Lorraine Motel. I'm a Kingian scholar. I did my master's degree work with Coretta Scott King in 1984 for 6 months. So I know more about King than people that are reading stuff. You know, talking about I Have a Dream, that was a lie. You know, the biggest thing, I see you, Dr. Renee. The last couple of weeks, I was running around all over the country talking about my book, Nightmare at the Lorraine Motel, because the book talks about, you know, anytime you're having a bad problem, you don't go to sleep and have sugar plums dancing in your head. You're worrying. Okay, and so in 1 year before his assassination, you can look this up on YouTube. 1 year before his assassination, interview with Dr. King. He was on NBC, and he told the guy said, well, Dr. King, tell us about your dream. And Dr. King said, really, I wasn't having dreams. I was having nightmares. and I put the transcript in my book.
Mm-hmm.
We've been bamboozled, and just like Malcolm said, hoodwinked and bamboozled.
Right.
And we're running around talking about Dr. King's dream. Dr. King's dream. Dr. King had nightmares,
Right.
and I'm going to be making a movie out of that, so
Right.
that people can really see what took place, what his thoughts really were. So those were a couple of my two powerful books. And for my folks that are in the ministry, my first book was called Crossed at the Cross, Why Black Men Stray Away from Church.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that in 2014 with intensive research and asking Black men why they don't go, and tried to get pastors to help me with that book by telling me themselves why they don't go and what it would take to bring them back. And I didn't get a flurry of pastors to contribute to it, but it still turned out to be a great book, and I just re-edited that book as well. So all of my books are about social change, social action, spirituality. I don't lean one way or the other in the book, and all of my books always take us back. That particular book, I started from using excerpts from Black theologians, people like Cone and those folks who study Blacks in religion. And a lot of times, knowing where we came from off that ship in 1619 and
Mm-hmm.
how we ended up like we are in the various sectors of spirituality, it opened some eyes. And my book talked about what happened when they took us off the ship, and then what happened after there, and so forth. So I tell people, it doesn't play blame game. It doesn't talk about any particular sect of all of the over 4,000 religions there are in the world. It just says this is how we got to where we are. And that's why I tell people, I use the word, Dr. Renee, the grand architect of the universe,
Right.
because that covers everybody. So
Right.
all my books are about trying to make a difference and luring them to something that'll make them conscious of what their mission is in life. Okay, because we all got a path. Sometimes we get off of it and get jumped back into it. But the bottom line is, once he's giving you your direction, people ask me sometimes, how did I end up here or there? I said, one thing you never do, you never ask God why.
Right.
Just do what he tell you.
So I'm gonna have you on the show, and we're gonna discuss that one, because I tell people I got a simple answer why men don't come to church.
Yeah.
And it's the same answer why men don't go to the store, why men don't go to the club, why men don't do this, why men. And the simple answer is, Dr. Rashid, we don't go nowhere where we don't like something. If it's something we don't like, we don't go back.
And we don't want to be told nothing. And we don't want to be told
right. It's that simple. If anywhere that I say I don't want to go, it's something there I don't like. And that's just men. That's just men. I don't want to go to the church and see the sisters. I don't want to go to the church and be harassed. I don't want to go to the gym and not be able to work out. And that's the simple answer. Yeah.
I did change the cover though, so that it doesn't look so gruesome.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna have you out of the studio. Then, like I told you, I'm coming out there to look at the museum. I still want to try to do a live show out there at the African American Museum.
Okay.
Got out there in Waxahachie. Appreciate your time.
I look forward to all of you on there to take an opportunity. I'll go down and open it up for you, even though we're only open on Saturdays from 10 to 5. I'm always open to say if somebody want to come down, I'll take that little 15-minute drive to Waxahachie and go down there and open it up and open up your mind.
Yeah.
Bring the kids, whatever.
Right. Okay, well, we're going to get up out of here. This is our late show. We starting this. Like I say, we're going to bring on different guests. Dr. Rashid, we're going to have you in the studio here real soon.
Okay.
We'll have you in the studio real soon. Hope Shot, shout out.
Hope Shot, shout out. Listen, education is important. Fundamental. Dive in. I mean, you can't take none of it with you, but you can definitely give it out while you're here. So
Mhm.
apply what's necessary and
Mhm.
plant seeds of good deeds, because our generation is lacking it at
Mhm.
this point, and somebody's got to be the change. So
Mhm.
I ain't really got no shout outs tonight. I'm so tired, y'all.
Dr. Renee, I was wondering why you're so quiet.
Right.
I gotta be up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm tired.
My hope shot is it's never too late. You know, just because you wasn't raised with it, you didn't accomplish it growing up, and it's never too late. Start where you are today. You don't have to
Exactly.
wait till time is perfect. You know, I'm a 42-year-old high school graduate. You know what I'm saying? 42-year-old. I didn't graduate high school until 42. It is never too late. You don't have to wait till you the perfect Christian, the perfect recovering addict, the perfect this or the perfect that, because there's no such. That is an illusion that needs to be shattered. You can start today and create the life that you want to leave, the legacy for the ones coming up behind you.
Janice.
You woke, Janice.
Yeah, I'm woke. I just didn't think you was gonna say my name. I'm my
Jazzy
legacy
J.
is treat people the way you want to be treated,
True.
and try not to hold any resentments. I think about how, like, if somebody's rude to you, don't mean you have to be rude back. Somebody gotta have some sense. So
Mm-hmm.
just speak, keep it moving, like, and that's the way I'm trying to be. I wanna treat people the way I want to be treated. And even though you make me mad and do me wrong, I don't have a resentment with you.
Right.
I'm still gonna treat you the same, but it's just life, the way life is now, the way the world is now, the way stuff is going on. You have to be real careful and real cautious. That's my shout out.
Dr. Rashid.
I just love this group.
Mhm.
And by the way, I'm 72.
Wow.
And by the way, I'm
Wow.
70.
Okay. We got some wisdom in the house. I'm glad to
Mhm.
be a part of this interaction and conversation about how to make things different in the world is always helpful, thoughtful, and fruitful. And the more of these that we have that turn into action items, instead of I tell people, in the words of James Brown, there's so many people that's out there talking loud and saying nothing.
Mhm.
It's
you
true.
know, we need to get up on there and start doing some action items. And
Mhm.
a lot of times, some of us are doing that work. We just don't get heard about because we're not trying to get on TV or be in the newspaper and all of that, because that's not what the great architect of the universe wanted us to do. Get out there and try to be, all over the place. Just do your job and be at
Right.
peace. Thank y'all.
Okay, man. I appreciate. Yeah, for me, I'm just grateful. Dr. Rashid. These ladies been well. Definitely, Janice and Crystal been with me a long time. Dr. Brandy been with me, and I'm just grateful for them all the time. Uh, uh, Apostle Brandy. All these like my sisters, little sis, with Janice, my big sis, and they keep me straight. They tell me I can be a handful sometimes. Uh,
Sometimes. Oh,
yeah,
Every time.
sometimes. But yeah, you get to see us all in person. Like I said, Dr. Rashid, I'll be getting with you, and uh, like Dr. Renee and Crystal, with what they do, they'll be getting. We're gonna get you out to the studio and have you on the live show and TV live show.
That's
All
powerful.
right. I so appreciate it, man. I gotta call mom too and tell her thank you. And tell her thank you because she gonna talk me to death.
Well, I'm glad the connection was made, and
Nice to meet you, Dr. Rashid.
nice to meet
Dr. Steve.
all of you.
Absolutely.
And this is just the beginning of a front that's going to move forward, as far as I'm concerned. And let's
Yeah.
do what we need to do to make a difference.
All
Yes.
right. I so pretty.
Amen.
All right. Say y'all know how I do it. This Big Red say
Life, new way of life. TV and talk radio is where the go. Best thing going is our TV show. Big Rich, Crystal Love, yeah, right, and Dr. Renee. We had the information, we give it away. Every week we bring the truth in the TV and radio booth. New way of life. TV